When Emma walked into the living room that night, glowing with excitement, I thought she'd gotten a promotion. Instead, she smiled, held her belly, and said softly, "Mark, we're pregnant." The words hit me like a slow echo. For a moment, I smiled back out of habit. Then, as she hugged me, I felt my stomach twist. Because deep down, I already knew the truth. 3 months earlier, things had started to feel off. Emma was suddenly distant. Her phone never left her hand, but her laughter didn't sound like it used to. I'd wake up in the middle of the night to find her texting in the kitchen, pretending she couldn't sleep. When I'd ask what was wrong, she'd say, "Work stress." When I'd try to touch her, she'd flinch like my hand was fire. So when she said she was pregnant, my first thought wasn't joy, it was how. Because I hadn't been with her for over 2 months, but I stayed silent. I smiled, I even said, "That's great news." She hugged me tighter, and I swear I could hear her heart racing, fast, guilty, nervous. The next morning, I sat in my car before work, hands shaking, scrolling through my phone bill. I'd noticed a strange number lately, calls at 11 p.m., midnight, sometimes during her lunch break. So I dialed it. A man answered. Calm. Too calm. "Hello?" I didn't say a word. I just listened. In the background, I heard music I knew too well, our favorite cafe's playlist. The 1-2 blocks from Emma's office. That was enough. Over the next few weeks, I played along. I attended doctor appointments. I smiled through family dinners. Everyone congratulated us. "You two were made for this," my mother-in-law said, squeezing Emma's hand. I nodded, hiding the bile burning in my throat. Behind the scenes, though, I'd already ordered a paternity test kit. It was easy. Swab, seal, send. Emma thought I was checking for genetic markers, something routine. She never suspected. 2 weeks later, the results arrived in a plain white envelope. I didn't even have to open it. I already knew. But I did. And the words stared back at me in bold black letters. Probability of paternity, 0.00%. My hands went numb. I sat there at the kitchen table, staring at the paper while Emma hummed upstairs, folding baby clothes. I could have screamed. I could have left. But instead, something inside me went cold. I decided to wait. By the time the baby shower came around, Emma's secret had grown into a lie big enough to fill our whole house. Friends, family, co-workers, all gathered around, laughing, clapping, celebrating. The decorations were perfect. Pastel balloons, pink cupcakes, glittery banners that said, "It's a girl." Emma stood in the middle of it all, radiant, basking in the glow of admiration. And me? I played my part, smiling, toasting, pretending, but my turn was coming. When the room quieted for speeches, I took the floor. I looked at her, really looked at her, and saw the woman I used to love but no longer recognized. "First," I began, "I want to thank everyone for being here. It means a lot to us. It's been a long journey, and honestly not an easy one." Emma smiled nervously. "Mark," she whispered, "keep it short." I ignored her. "You know," I continued, "pregnancy is about trust, about honesty, about building a future together." Her eyes flickered. She knew what was coming. "And that's why," I said, pulling the envelope from my pocket. "Before we move forward, I want to share something important." The room fell silent. I unfolded the paper slowly. "This," I said, holding it up, "is a DNA test result. A test that proves I'm not the father of this child." The gasp that followed was deafening. Emma froze, her smile collapsing. Her mother covered her mouth. My father muttered a prayer under his breath. Emma stammered, "Mark, what are you talking about?" I read aloud, each word like a hammer strike. Probability of paternity, 0%. Someone dropped a glass. Tears welled in her eyes. "Mark, please, we can talk." "Talk?" I said, my voice breaking. "You've been talking plenty with whoever this number belongs to." I tossed my phone on the table, the call logs flashing on the screen. Midnight calls. Lunch breaks. Coffee dates. "You remember that cafe playlist, right?" She covered her face, sobbing. The crowd shifted uncomfortably. Some guests left. Others just watched, wide-eyed, frozen in disbelief. "I didn't mean for this to happen," she whispered. I stared at her. "You didn't mean to cheat? Or you didn't mean to get caught?" Her sister, pale and trembling, whispered, "Emma, who's the father?" Emma said nothing, just cried harder. That silence told everyone everything. I placed the paper on the table beside the half-eaten cake. "You've turned this celebration into a funeral," I said quietly. "I'm done pretending." Then I walked out. The next day, my phone didn't stop buzzing, calls, messages, begging, apologies, even threats from her family. I didn't answer any of them. I went to my lawyer instead. By the end of the week, divorce papers were ready. I sent them with a note. "You wanted a new life. Now you can have it. It's been 6 months now." I moved to a new apartment. Small, quiet, peaceful. Sometimes I still wake up expecting to hear her voice, but then I remember, it's over. People keep telling me I did the right thing. Maybe I did. Maybe I didn't. But one thing I know for sure. The truth, no matter how painful, always comes out. Emma tried to build a life on lies. And when everyone celebrated her fake happiness, I stood up and dropped the truth, the one bombshell she never saw coming.